Good evening. I'm Jessica from Product Program, and so we're just going to give everyone just a couple more minutes to get in here because we had quite a few people registered. But could you just please type in the chat box that you can hear me okay? Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't having any audio problems. So like I said, we'll just give everyone a couple more minutes to get in here. But there is just one thing that I do just want to, a reminder since we're talking about cookie booths, is that you just want to remember to verify that all the adults that you're going to have be at cookie booths, that they're registered and background checked. So this is a great time to make sure that they're not going to be expiring soon. So please do that. Check on your roster and make sure that all the adults that you plan on using at cookie booths, that they're already registered and background checked, so that you'll be good to go when cookie booths start. And so Esther, she's joining us. She'll be stopping throughout to answer questions. So feel free to type in any questions that you have in the question or chat box there, that then we can answer them as we go along from it. So again, we'll just give everyone just a couple more minutes before we get started here. Okay, so another thing in eBudde that I just want to remind everybody, if this is your first time doing the cookie chat with us, is remember that we do have the Help Center here, the Help Center tab. When you click on it, it will bring up the Help Center, and we do have a lot of resources in here, from the guides to if you need a parent permission form, goal-getter cards, so because some people asked about that last week, so you'll see we have the English and the Spanish one there from it. We also have the video links and things like that, and then we also have a lot of other things. So we have our booth scheduler rounds. So you'll find these inside your guide, but we do just want to go ahead and talk about them. So our booth scheduler rounds, they begin January 27th, that Monday at 7 p.m., and then that round will end on January 28th at noon. Between that noon and 7 p.m. for the following day, that's where it gives us a chance to upload any new booths that we might get throughout the season there from it. So whenever we get paperwork approved, we'll be uploading new booths. So it is always good to be looking through eBudde just to see what we upload and things like that from it. So January 27th is what it starts. So the first two rounds, you'll get 2 signups, and it says 1 per store daily. So that means that it just restricts it to allowing you to only choose 1 store number for that round of it. So if you're picking Publix 1, 2, 3, you couldn't choose both days in that first round to be at that same Publix. You could choose Publix 1, 2, 3, and then you could choose Publix 4, 5, 6 as that other sign up for that first round. And then you could go back to, on that second day, you could go back to the Publix 1, 2, 3 and Publix 4, 5, 6 or another store. And it's not limited for the days of the choices. So if you wanted to try to choose everything on the first weekend, or you wanted to spread it out, you can do your signups on whatever is available in the system. So we're going to go ahead and just take a look in our demo system for eBuddy to show you how easy it is to pick a booth here. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to choose a troop. And I'm going to go ahead and click on booth sites. And so what you're going to do is you'll see when you click on booth sites, that opens up all of the cities' names here from it. And so when they're green, that means they have openings. When they turn blue, that means there's no more openings left at that location in that city or that spot. So we're just going to go ahead and I'll click on Brandon here. And so you'll see here that one of them still has spots. The other one shows that they're full here from it. You always want to just check
I'm
around.
sorry, Jess.
Yes?
Jess, it seems like the screen is frozen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will go back.
Mhm.
Thank you.
That's perfect. You're
See?
so
Okay, so I'm sorry, the things that I was trying to show you. Well, here on the Help Center, this is where I was showing you that the schedule rounds are listed and everything like that from it. So, but we're going to go into the demo site here. So let me just start back on the dashboard. So go to booth sites. And so you'll see the cities here in green from it. And so we'll click on Brandon. And so you'll see, like I said, one has spots, the other one is already taken. But again, just always scroll through and see if there's another city that might be close by that it may be technically located in that for their address that they have on the paperwork and things like that from it. So always look around and check. So we're just going to go ahead and choose this Publix at Kingsway. And so you'll see here it says the Friday, the 28th is already taken, and then we'll go ahead and choose the Sunday there from the 4 to 7. You just click on the slot and then click submit, but you will see that sometimes there are notes up here from it. So you always want to be aware from there. So there's different ones, but when you click OK, it says your time is reserved. If we wanted to choose another location, another city, then we could go and choose, and we'll go ahead and put in. And so we'll choose here and then submit and say okay. I will just go back to this one that's already taken. So we'll look at that time slot that's already taken. And so you see that it shows up if it's already claimed on there, but we do have a notify me if slot opens up. So maybe I was kind of really interested in that slot, and if somebody gave it up, that would give me a chance to maybe take that slot and claim it. So I can put myself on a waiting notification. And so right now it tells me that 0 people are waiting for it. When more people sign up to wait on the notification, it will go up there, but it is still just a first come first serve. So when someone releases it, it will send out an email notification to everyone that's on that waiting list to let them know that it has been released. And so it is first come first serve to come back into eBuddy and claim it. I do just want to show you on here for current signups. When you click here, this is where it's going to show you the list of cookie booths that you have selected. It also is going to let you know if there's any specific notes there like I showed you about it. So some of them may say that you need to check in with the manager to set up, or like this one says on the exit side, right of the exit, not in the center of the doors, not on ATM side. So some of the things are very specific from that. Also, it's a great thing to have this printed out for when taking it at the cookie booth, so that if there is any issue, to make sure that everyone knows that they're at the right store at the right day and time. Because sometimes people misread things and get a little confused. And so there are some cities that may have the Publix or Walmart that's on the same street. But they're just different locations. And so sometimes people have set up where another troop has been by mistake. So you always just want to have your sign up, your printed out there, and bring it along. So just keep it with your cookie booth supplies from it. So that's just showing you there from it. So I'm just going to go back here and now show you how to release your cookie booth. So we're going to go to dashboard and how easy it is. So if you do realize that you needed to release a cookie booth, you don't have to go back to the booth sites. You can just go on your dashboard and there's a release button. So you can click on that and it says that the releasing of the booth cannot be undone. So release the sale. It wants you to say okay, that you're sure. And then it says the booth sign up is canceled. And when you click OK, it refreshes your calendar and it will take that booth off of it. So you just want to remember um, to do that. So if you realize that you've got notification that your girl is sick and the parent's not going to be able to be there as that second parent at the cookie booth, then go ahead and make sure you release it as soon as possible. And that's something that as a troop, you may just want to check to see if you have your scheduled, your cookie booths, the day before or even earlier that day, just check to see if the booth was canceled before or after your shift to see if you want to pick up a cookie booth so that we can have cookies for our customers out there, because it's really, upsetting sometimes when our customers say, well, it was on the locator before saying there was people going to be here and now there's no girls here from it. So we do get that all the time. So we want to try to make sure that when we sign up for booths that we are able to fulfill that, because sometimes the guests are looking at that when they're planning to go out from that. So we're going to take a moment for Esther to answer any questions that you may have from it. So Esther?
Hi, we just have one question so far. So when can we see the different booth sites?
So starting on January 21st is when we're going to have it visible to the troops. And so you do want to just always keep looking in there, because we will get continuously paperwork throughout cookie booths. So because sometimes businesses take a little bit longer to turn in paperwork, because sometimes they don't always want to just give them to us there from it. So we have to kind of keep asking for their approvals and things like that. So, but I will just take a quick look at our volunteer guide so that you'll see that the Cookie Booth scheduler rounds are in here. But just so that you understand a little bit with it, council level booths are Sam's, Walmart, the neighborhood markets, Publix, Winn-Dixie, Harvey, Fresco and Moss, Joann's Fabrics, Dunkin' Donuts. Those all are council level with national agreements, but it's still up to the store manager to allow us to be there. So we do not want any troops to go on their own and say, well, there's not one scheduled for this weekend. Why can't I go to the manager and ask for it? Please don't. We have asked managers, and they will allow the days that they want to. And some managers will not allow solicitation out of their stores. And then also it may be because of the property managers. They may not allow solicitation in the plaza from it. So sometimes it's things they've had a bad experience with the troops before a previous season, and they may say that they don't want to have girls to come back. So that's why we want to make sure that when we're at cookie booths that we do represent our best image out there, and making sure that you always take all your trash. Do not leave any empty, cases, paper, the cardboard, anything like that. You want to make sure that you take all of those there with you from it. So any other questions?
Yes. Can you show where the permission forms are found if someone needs another copy?
Yes. Okay. So on eBuddy, you have the tab on that far right-hand side that says Help Center. When you click on it, it will open up the Help Center tab. So you'll see here it says Guides, Permission Forms, and Order Cards. It kind of got cut off there, but you'll see that we do have the Family Guide, the Juliet Guide, Parent Permission Forms in English and in Spanish, your Volunteer Guide, and then we have our Goal Getter cards. So if you ran out of order cards, then, or you want a Spanish one, then you'll see it's the PDF, and so you can have those out there as additional order cards for your girls. Any other questions? I'll go
Nothing
back.
right now.
Okay, so I'll just go back and show you in eBuddy in the demo site again, just really how quick and easy it is when you're selecting those booths. So remember, it's the booth sites, and then you can just go ahead and click on that city and click on the booth. Um, I know earlier when we did the earlier one, people did just kind of ask about times for cookie booths. The hour range, it varies a little bit depending on the store, what they approve with us from it. And so we have 2 hours, 3 hours. There may be occasional four, but we try not to do too many of those. We try to break them into smaller ones. That way, if you do have younger girls, you can, because we understand younger girls aren't going to be able to have the time tolerance of being at a cookie booth for multiple hours. So you may want to schedule just a 2 hour cookie booth. That way they can be there, and then you know if they can't last the whole time, you could rotate them around. A lot of troops, what they'll do is they'll schedule a 2 hour cookie booth for their daisies, and they'll do it in shifts. So they'll have certain girls cover a certain amount of time and then bring in other girls so that those girls can go home, and then bring in another set of girls and rotate them through the that their hours that they're there for that time slot from it. So remember, we just go in. When you click on it, it will show you your troop number, and then click submit, and then your time is reserved. Okay, so that's how easy it is that you can go in and submit from it. And then when you go back, if you wanted just to look at to see anything, you'll see that your time is there. And again, to look at your signups, you can just go ahead and click that signups, and that will show you them. Okay, I think we're getting some more questions.
Yeah, we are.
Okay,
Okay,
so we'll take a moment.
so what is the difference between council booths and service unit booths?
Okay, service unit booths are more of the local type of locations, like the independent grocery stores, restaurants, places like that, gas stations. So some of them will do like the pet supermarkets, dollar stores, gas stations, things like that. And so service units go around, the volunteers do that to get the permission for our troops to be there. So some service units are nice enough to allow all everyone in the council to schedule into those cookie booths, and they send them to be placed onto eBuddy. They don't hold any of them back. Some service units do hold their cookie booths only for the troops that are in that service unit. Some service units, they'll do a little bit of both. They will let their troops pick first, and then they open it up and give council the remaining time slots so that we can put those onto eBuddy, and then anyone in the council can choose those time slots. Next question.
Yes. This is not related to booths asked. This is regarding 27th. An email said we could put in another pending order. And
Correct.
that
So
might
what
be the cupboards.
Right, for our cupboards. So after our initial order, you'll be able to go back to our warehouse cupboards and pick up more cookies, because we know that you may need more after you start giving out more of the girl delivered orders that they have, or maybe a girl sells a lot for cookie on the spot, or you just realize you need more for your cookie booth from it. So January 27th is when you'll actually be able to start putting in approximately that day pending orders. And so you just want to remember, if it's at our major warehouse cupboard locations, those orders need to be put in an hour before you would go pick it up. And the days that we will start those will it depends where you're at, because some warehouses open on Wednesday, February 5th. Some warehouses open Thursday, February 6th there. And then we will start our floating cupboards February 6th and 7th. We'll have locations out there. And so you just want to make sure, if you go to put an order in for a floating warehouse, you're going to put that in by noon the day before to go pick up those orders there. So it's not a problem of getting more cookies. You'll be able to go back to the warehouse and pick up more cookies. Next question.
Next question is, do we assign credit for booth sales to the girls in attendance? If so, how?
When you're in to eBudde, when you do council sales here, you can go and click record sales. So this is where you would actually click on those cookie booths that you have in here, and we'll do another uh, video, a cookie chat talking about more assigning of the things too. But you would put in what you're selling. So if your troops sold 10 boxes of lemon ups, 5 boxes of trefoils, a dozen do-si-dos, 24 Samoas, 17 tags, 36 Thin Mints, 2 s'mores, and 1 toffee, it's going to put in how many packages that you had. And so if all of your girls were there, it would split it between all 3 girls. If only 2 girls were there, you can uncheck them and it will show just the 2 girls, and then you hit distribute, and it will go ahead and try to distribute them as evenly as possible. Sometimes one girl may get one more just because you had an odd number there from it. So just be aware of that. But then you can go and submit sale. And so, oh, I don't have enough troop inventory, sorry, on this one, but it would go ahead and split it and assign the packages to the girl there. Sorry, I have a troop that didn't have an inventory in. Let me see if this one, oh, this one does, so I can try to do that one for you. Yep, so we'll just do that again, like I said. And so again, you can just click off whoever didn't come, distribute it, and then submit the sale. And so it will have those sites updated. So under the girl orders, it will actually list the location and it will show and distribute them to the girl. And so it will show you the amount that was there, and it was paid automatically from the troop from it. So next question.
I think this is more of a confirmation, not question, but January 15th is the cookie booth
Today.
schedule. Yes,
Mhm.
January 21st is the cookie booth available for view in eBuddy. And
Right.
January 27th, first day can enter a pending / additional troop cookie order. And also, Jennifer, remember the 27th is the first day that you can go in and select your cookie booths.
So I'll go ahead and put in, oh, let's see, go back here. My Help Center, I'll go ahead and show you the cookie rounds, or actually we'll just do on that volunteer. So those are those cookie rounds, those dates and times.
Okay.
Oh, I see one question from Anna about requirements of
Oh,
maximum girls or people. Some some store locations do have a limit. Some of them, because they're a smaller or their management does not like to have it overly crowded of people. So some stores may say that it's only 2 adults and 2 girls to be there, so that it's not overwhelming and crowded outside of their doors. Some of the other locations may allow a little bit more girls, but we say four girls, maybe 5 is really a good number at the most to have. That 3 and 4 is a kind of better size there from it. And again, you can rotate girls in and out if you have a larger troop to cover your cookie booth there. But you just don't want it to be so many people at the cookie booth that the customers, are, discouraged of having, everybody, sitting there on phones and things like that, because they're not interacting with the customers from it. Okay, next question.
yes, one person wrote, I work in downtown in the Regions Bank building. I informally spoke with building that they're fine with cookie booths in the lobby. So how do I go about setting that up if there aren't a location we can choose in the system?
Okay, so anything like a big business or a parent that's willing to allow a cookie booth, you always want to make sure that you get in touch with your service unit cookie manager so that they can give you the paperwork form to be filled out that just shows that we have permission to be there from it. So please get with your service unit cookie manager. They can give you the form to have signed just so that if someone comes back to us and says, hey, we saw this, what is that going on there, and they contact council, we are aware of that and we can have that paperwork to say, yes, they did get permission to be at that store or that business from it. We just want to make sure that we do have that permission there. If it is one that's going to be limited to a specific troop. We do have some businesses like that because it is those family owned or a specific business that only wants to do a certain day or two for a group. Then again, you want to just have that paperwork, and what happens is that it won't get put onto eBuddy in the system. You would just manually be entering in the cookies to the girls, like a girl transaction that we'll talk a little bit more later how we do the girl transactions.
Okay. Did you answer Anne's both questions? I know you answered one question.
Um, this what we're showing you
For
right now is
time.
the council level booths of how to view them. That's how what we're showing you on
Okay,
eBuddy
perfect.
from it. I also see about the church. So yes, if a church allows the girls to be there to set up in their lobby on Sunday, we should just make sure about the service unit because we have had some incidents of troops when there's multiple troops at a church who's are using the facility, and some people are members of the church, and so they come back to council saying, well, why didn't we have a chance to have a cookie booth at the church from it? So it has come back to council here. So it is just nice to go ahead and do get that approved just so that the service unit cookie manager can have that form and say, well, this is who signed off, this is what it was. It was offered to that service unit or that troop in that service unit there, because we've had some incidents of people who were not in the same service unit, but they were members at a church, and there was a troop meeting at the church, that type of thing. And so one of them secured the location, and so we just want to make sure that the service unit is aware of it.
Okay, how do you find out if your service unit has booth size picked out?
You want to talk to your service unit cookie manager to find out when some of them do it like a lottery style from it. Some of them had it up like on Sign Up Genius last year for the troops. So you get in touch with your service unit cookie manager. If you're not sure who that is, when you look on your troop, it on your dashboard, it will show you who your cookie manager is. It will have their email address on who to contact. So just go in and contact your service unit cookie manager for whatever service unit you're in, and they can talk to you about how they post their service unit booths out. Also, if you have a suggestion of a place that like a business and things like that, service units are always looking for places to have cookie booths at. So talk to them.
Okay. Does the first ACH sweep include the 27th order too?
This 20, only if you did not put an initial order in. So it's 25% of your initial order, but if you're a troop who missed the initial order, did not put an initial order in, then it would include if you picked up from starting the 27th.
Okay. I think this was answered already, but I'll ask again. We have a parent that is willing to allow us to do a booth at his business, but he only wants to allow it for our troop. Is it possible to have a location that is only allow one Pacific troop to have a booth, or does the location have to be willing to open up to any troops? The parent's concern is that he says his store is available on a particular day and that his own daughter's troop might not even get that time.
Right. So that's why we want to have that paperwork done through the service unit and just let the service unit know that this is just for that specific. So usually it's not a business that's going to offer it for the whole season. Usually it's just 1 or 2 days that it of doing that special um, location reserved for that specific troop there from it.
Okay. What is the average number of boxes that sell at a booth?
That's going to vary depending on your location and kind of your time slot and everything like that. So the best suggestion that we can give, because it also varies depending on what service unit you are in the council. We have 8 different counties here that we cover, and so sometimes what people sell in the northern counties may not be the same mix of cookies that another service unit in another county might sell there. So that's why we ask you to talk to your service unit cookie manager so that they can kind of give you some points of what, but you do just want to remember to always have Thin Mints and Samoas, the core cookies of Thin Mints, Samoas, uh, do-si-dos tags. So Samoas and Thin Mints, you want at least, a good 3 to 4 boxes or cases there from it. The do-si-dos tag-alongs, it might be the 2 to 3 cases. Hopefully the lemon will do well with being the new cookie, but lemon is a particular customer sometimes. So, you might do a couple of cases of those, especially with them being new at the cookie booth. And trefoils, again, that's one of those ones. Sometimes it's a really good seller. Sometimes it's one of the lower sellers, depending on who your customers are. But again, for like the Toffee-tastic and s'mores and Toffee-tastic, it may be a case or less. So it may be, Toffee-tastic, you just have 6 boxes left, and just bring that with you. That just s'mores and especially Toffee-tastic, since it's that gluten-free cookie, it's not always a high seller depending on that location that you are.
Okay. Where can we find the day/hours that warehouses will be open for additional pick?
We'll be getting, because I'm still confirming with the floating warehouses for that. So we'll be posting those hopefully the beginning of next week. Hopefully we'll get everything confirmed. So by the beginning of next week or so, we'll be posting those. You'll see those on into the help center there at eBudde.
Okay, so this question is off the topic, but we need to help this new troop. We are a new troop, and my parents aren't able to register because our troop number does not appear online. Can you direct me to who I need to speak with to correct that?
Customer connections is who you want to speak to about getting a troop situated. From there, because because there is a thing this year, it's a little different. They don't actually, I don't think, if they're going to become a troop helper, they may not actually be picking their troop number in the system, but if they call customer connection, so if you call the council number, which is 813-262-1839, they can help that person get registered and get their background check sent to them. So I'm just gonna do one thing real quick here. I just go ahead and put our phone number. This is customer connections. And so that number, or they can do the 1-800-8881 or 475. And they can get helped there through customer connections. They can contact them. On our website also, they have it too, if they go to gswcf.org.
Okay, Jennifer asks, can I pick up the 27th orders at the same date I picked up the SIO, or is it a different date?
It's a different date. The initial order, your SIO has already been placed. That's what's coming in starting February 1st through February 3rd dates. Your pickup on the 27th, like we said earlier, those days will not start until starting February 5th or 6th for the warehouse, or the 6th and 7th, or the 7th and 8th, sorry, if you're doing a floating warehouse. They're totally 2 different orders there from it.
Okay, what is the difference between warehouse and cupboard?
Um, They're all cupboards, technically, is what we call them, but we have the floating ones. And so, what a floating cupboard or location is where it is going to be coming to a parking lot in a business or a church, and they're only going to be there for about an hour time frame to bring cookies to those specific troops that ordered them the day before by noon to bring by truck to them. We have our big cupboard warehouses are the big locations where you can actually put your order in at least an hour before um, you want to pick them up from it. So because they actually have them housed there in that big warehouse cupboard. So we call them all cupboards because in the system that's the term they use. But there is the floating one, and then there is the main ones there.
Okay, can you do more than one booth in one day at two different businesses or two different locations?
You can, or you could do the same location if you're able to pick from round one and then round two or round three or round four, and there's other time slots for that same business on that same day. You're able to do the same location from it. That the only thing is, like we said, we just want to give everyone a fair chance of choosing a location. So that's why we limit the stores those rounds there from it, so somebody doesn't come in and just take a business the one day from everyone in the very first round from it. We want to give everyone a fair shot of claiming the time slots.
Okay, this is another question that's off the topic. As we get digital cookie sales, do those boxes automatically get added into initial orders before it arrives, or do we need to take those sales out of the extra cookies we ordered?
Okay, so now since the additional order has been placed, your additional order is locked. So any digital cookie orders for girl delivery that you're getting um, after the initial order was placed, you will need to take those out of your extra cookies that you ordered or go back to the warehouse and pick up more cookies to supply those for the girls for their girl delivered orders.
Okay, so far I think that's it for the questions so far.
Okay. Any other questions? If you don't have any other questions, you can log off. That's up to you. We'll stay on for just a couple more minutes to see if any other questions come in from it, but feel free to log off if you don't have anything else. I will just go one more time through signing in to pick your cookie booth there while we're waiting to see if anybody else
Yeah, I
has
got two
any
more.
questions. Okay.
Is there a deadline for the 27th order?
It depends on what day you're picking up. So the 27th is when the system opens back up for orders. So that's not a deadline on just the 27th. It's just that we don't allow the system to open up until the 27th because we have to have all the inventory finalized into the warehouse of what we're going to have for availability after they get ready to pull everything and we have it broken down for the initial order because when we do the initial order, we bring in extra cookies to cover what people may want to come back to. So the 27th isn't a deadline. That's just the opening of being able to do pending orders.
Okay. How soon should you pack up your booth for the next troop to set up?
You want to start packing up. I say typically that 10 to 15 minutes beforehand, start getting everything cleaned up around it so that then when the next troop does come in, it's not going to take you a half an hour to get everything broken down and ready to go. Because sometimes your display may be a little bit elaborate. So you just want to try to, start getting things taken down, especially if you have a lot of cookies out on the table. That's where you might want to just start kind of putting it, slimming things down, just getting everything organized, so that then, when your time is up, there you're able to put your table away, just get everything boxed up and moved right out of the way, so that when the time is, the next troop can set up their table right behind you and go right into that spot.
If a small local boutique is willing to let us sell there, in the afternoon, we have to get permission form from council to share options for this for everyone.
No, you're going to your service unit cookie manager, so that we have paper on file. So, and we don't have, that's not going to go into eBuddy. That is just, it will be a service unit level, so that the service unit still turns the paperwork into us, so that if there's an issue, that you're doing it. And also to make sure that we don't already have a cookie booth set up there by another business in that location, because you may say, yes, we can go to CC's close boutique there, but we want to make sure that we don't already have, two stores down. We have the H&R Block already from the service unit at the same time, that you want to do yours there. So that's why we just want to make sure there's some coordination, because again, we don't want to have people just showing up and saying, well, I got permission to do a cookie booth here in this plaza, and I got permission to do a cookie booth here at this store in the plaza. And we have 5 cookie booths going on in the same plaza from different stores.
Okay, so Liz, the one question just now, she's confused. She thought that we could set up our own small mobile booth. So why don't you go over what a mobile booth is compared
Okay.
to cookie booth?
Yes, mobile booths are not tables. There are no tables. Mobile means that you're on the go. So, and they do not start until February 14th. That means mobile booth is going to be in those plazas, things like that, that you want to park your vehicle for no more than 30 minutes, or take a wagon down the sidewalk in the plaza, so that you're there and then you're gone, because we do not want you to be sitting in a shop's parking lot for hours on end, and you do not go to a location where we already have cookie booths planned, because we have some stores who only allow us to do cookie booths on certain days, and they contacted us this past season to say, hey, we told you to be here on this day and this day, but we had some people sitting in the parking lot for like 3 hours selling cookies out of their vehicle here. Can you not have your troops do that? And so when and that's because the troops thought, well, the public said, allows cookie booths. They just weren't doing them that day, so we'll sit in the parking lot. That's not allowed, because we don't want to lose those businesses from allowing us to do cookie booths the fall, this year or coming up next year, from it, because they may say, if you can't abide by the rules, we don't want you at all.
Okay. This is about digital cookie. Is there a report that shows digital orders placed after initial order?
Yes, it does. So I'm just going to show you real quickly. I just picked somebody. I'm just trying to see. I don't know who all has orders after. So let me see. Nope, I don't think the orders come in yet. After, nope, that one doesn't have it. Let me just try to find a girl. Because I can't show you on the demo site. So I'm trying to find a transaction, or actually I can show you on the PDF. I'll show you what happens. In the Help Center, I do have how cookies display before and after the transaction. What happens is that after the initial order is locked, they will come in after it, but you can click on girl delivery. I'll make this bigger. Okay. So what happens is when you're on that girl tab, right now the initial order is going to be locked. So any orders after it, they'll just show up below it there from it. If you want to look at what your initial girl delivery orders were, then on that girl order tab, you'll click girl delivery, and then that will list those ones that were here, and it shows you before the initial order, and then it will list them after the initial order, what the variety of the cookies are. There's also a report on the reports tab. Um, on the far right side you'll see, and there's the DOC order. So there's DOC added, which are additional orders, and then DOC orders by the girl from it, and it will list the girl here, and it will show whether they're delivered or shipped, if it's all of them, things like that, and it will show you the packages there. So this is a great way for you to go in right now if you want to start seeing what is going to be verify with that parent, that they know which ones are handed out. These are what you're filling off, that you can just keep saving these reports so that you can check them off and be able to help that parent see what cookies they're going to still need for any girl deliveries. Right now, we don't have access to the girl orders because we're finalizing the troop system for our council order from it. So we don't want anybody to be going into it right now. So it kind of locks it right now, but you will have access after we finish getting our order placed in there to the system, because Trish has to finalize the roll up of everything. She was going through assigning all the troops that didn't select places. So she was doing that all today. So she's finishing up tonight that. So hopefully Friday, you'll have access back into the system for the girl order tab. So that's why we don't have access right now.
Okay, this is for Arlene. Arlene, I know you came in late, but Jessica will be briefly going over what we spoke about. For everyone else, if you do not have any other questions, you could log off if you like to. I just have questions that just came up just now. So for post initial order, girl delivery orders, the parents are responsible for letting us know what additional cookies they need, or are troop leaders supposed to be monitoring it since it automatically goes into eBudde this year?
It's both. You want to help your parents with the additional orders so that when you look at it, so what some troops do is they pick a day to send out a reminder to their parents to say, hey, I see that you guys are getting in orders for girl delivery. Please take a look and verify those deliveries. They go into Digital Cookie, they have access, they register their girl, they can go and see the orders. But if they're not sure what they are, that's where you can see on that report there in eBuddy for those orders from it, and you can help them tell you what they need from it, because sometimes they will already have those cookies, so they don't need any more cookies to fulfill those orders. But this way you can let them know, hey, I'm planning on, if I need to go to the warehouse, you need to let me know what cookies that you're needing to fulfill your girl delivery so that you can plan accordingly. That's where it's just great to do it, once a week, say, give them a timeline, a deadline for them to tell you, so that you can say, hey, I will make sure I have these cookies for you at this time. They're from it. Okay, I am going to go ahead and show for anyone who just joined us how to go ahead and pick the cookie booths. So again, it's under the booth sites there. You'll click on your city, and then you click on that location there, and it will show you whether there's any availability. If it's green, there's availability in the time slots. If it's blue, they're all taken there from it. So I'm going to click on February the 15th there, click 12 o'clock. It puts your time for your troop number in that time slot, and then you click the green submit button, and then okay, your time is reserved. And sometimes, like you said, it has warnings there if you want to be notified if it was all filled up. So like here, this one is filled, we can go ahead and get the notification there to show us. But to look at what your signups are, current signups, click here, and this shows you what your troop has signed up for. So again, you want to print this out and take a copy of it, have it at your cookie booth, just so that there's no confusion on who is supposed to be at that cookie booth, and the store, the address and everything like that, that you're at the right place there. Okay, so any other questions? Oh, just and quickly how to release it. When you go back to your dashboard, you're just going to be able to choose if you realize you need to cancel out of one. You just go ahead and click release, and it will ask you because it cannot be undone. So we click OK, and then it tells you that it was canceled for you, and then it will update your calendar and remove it from there. Okay,
Arlene,
any
is
other
that
questions?
okay? Arlene, just type in that everything was okay. You have any questions?
Okay, and again, just remember in the Help Center, we do have a lot of resources and information for you from it. So hopefully, if you have other things, questions, check there and see. We may have some of that information for you to find. Okay, so if there's not any other questions, I think that hopefully answered everybody and got everyone taken care of, because I've seen quite a few people have left here. Then I think that we'll go ahead and call it quits, but I will just go ahead and if you need to email us or anything like that, product sales at gswcf.org there from it if you have any other questions, okay? And so thank you for listening and watching, and have a great night.
Good night,
Bye.
guys. Bye.